Takes us to staff reports. And Phil.
Yeah, I'll just be very brief. We have to go into an executive session, so I want to be conscious of that. For 3 years, I guess, I've bemoaned what's happening in the state politically, and there might actually be some optimistic signs. If you've been following the news, the Federal Department of Education, as he departs, Arnie Duncan announced that maybe they've been over-testing and that maybe they've been responsible for some problems. That's been a good thing. Locally, the governor has a Common Core task force, which I think is his way of trying to ride that anti-Common Core sentiment. He's also appointed a new Secretary of Education, and for the first time he actually appointed an educator. Our neighboring superintendent, Dr. Hockman, was appointed effectively the governor's Secretary for Education, and Dr. Hockman has been openly critical of APPR, openly critical of the testing program, and to some extent of Common Core. So that may represent a recognition on the governor's part that federal government's going in another direction, and maybe he needs to too. And the new Commissioner of Education has been reaching out to superintendents and talking about what her plans are for making changes. She has heard that the tests are too long. She's announced they will be shorter this year. And she's also looking at the problems with linking the tests to teacher evaluations, and she's conducting a Common Core evaluation. So all of a sudden everybody seems interested in making revisions, which could be a good thing for all of us.
And don't forget the Chancellor is leaving.
And the Chancellor's leaving.
The architect of a lot of these
Yes.
reforms.
Yes, the chief reformer. So a lot of interesting things happening. So maybe it can be a little less cynical in the future. That's my report.
Maybe.
There's hope.
Thank you. Okay. And Greg, was that your report?
Just 30 seconds, because Ira loves to hear me.
Okay.
The transportation project for the tank replacement, that work has been completed with the exception of the rough end for the paving. We're not going to finish the paving until after construction is done. I don't want to put in brand new pavement and have it torn up. So any time now, I don't know the date we're getting the paving done, the rough end paving, but we're ready to actually use our new tank system, our new gas station down there, basically.
Yeah.
We're very, very happy with it. We did have the, we'll call it a kickoff meeting for the construction phase of the renovation and the addition of the bus wash station. Waiting to get the final schedules. We just have basically very rough schedules, and the trades are coordinating now, and I'll share with the board once I get a final schedule.
Great. Thank you.
Sure, and briefly, just a brief technology update, as it's one of your board goals for technology. As you know, we're in our second year of implementing wireless technology. It's our first year of the one-to-one initiative in grades 3 through 8. Over the past few weeks, we experienced a little bit some outages with being able to log on. It turned out that was a global issue. It wasn't just to Byram Hills. And Andrew Taylor was working closely with Lyric to resolve that and figure out what was causing it. But what he discovered while he was analyzing that is that the speed of our service right now is not matching the service we're purchasing from Lyric. And that's actually a concern of ours. The average user would not know the difference right now. It's not feeling sluggish, but we're concerned going forward as we see more increase in usage by teachers and students, and particularly next semester as we start rolling out more STEAM initiatives that will rely on the internet. That's a concern to Andrews, and he's working hard. He's really pushing Lyric to explain this and try to fix it. At the same time, he's researching what other districts are doing and looking for alternatives in case we have to make a switch. So he's putting a lot of pressure on them to fix that, and knows the importance of it. And so we are being proactive in making sure the internet's working at the rate it should, realizing that we're really becoming reliant on this and how much teachers are really using it now.
Is
Kids are
Lyric
using it.
Lyric, it's
The Lower Hudson Regional Information.
Through BOCES.
Through BOCES, yes, it's through BOCES.
So all the other districts have to be having the same problem.
They have, and some
And
have.
you could turn the water spigot up for some, but then it turns it down for others. Is this a squeaky wheel thing, or is this an everybody?
Well, we don't really know. You purchase a service, you purchase a particular speed, and you know that we
Different
also.
districts can purchase different
They can.
speeds.
Exactly,
And
so-
somebody's got their hand on the control
We
valve.
think, we're not sure of everything. We also, if you remember a few years ago when we designed this, it was designed so that we weren't funneling our entire pipeline out through one source. We
Right.
did this
Right.
creative solution, which was very unique to Lyric. They're sort of blaming it on that, but we're not accepting that as an answer. So we're really trying to work hard to uncover what that is.
What do you think the time frame is for rolling that out?
We're pretty active on it. We want to get this resolved quickly. So Andrew's putting a lot of pressure on them and speaks with them constantly. He's in a lot of contact with them. He sees them at conferences and says, "So you have any information?" And he's also talking to other districts to see what other services are out there that they use. Because some people have abandoned Lyric and have gone to some other companies. for
Is
their
it an option for us if we need it?
It could be, yeah, sure is.
Would you keep us informed on
I
that?
will, yeah.
You know, we can also put pressure on them to
Right.
write a letter by the board and start making some noise too.
Yeah, I don't know if we're at that level, but we certainly will keep you posted if we need that pressure.
Have you found them to be not responsive, or just too soon to tell?
It's too soon to tell.
So that's
They,
what I got.
He wants more increase in communication with them. As we were experiencing these outages, we weren't getting reports.
If you sense a lack of responsiveness, then we'd like to know.
Okay, we'll let him know. Thank you.
Is there a long-term contract, or are we just like by the year?
That's a good question.
It's
I don't know,
year
do you
to
know that?
year.
Year to year. Good.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, sure.
Okay, Jen? All right, and for my report tonight, the board's always very supportive of extracurricular clubs and activities, and it's at this time of year that we receive reports back from advisors about enrollment in clubs and certain activities. So I thought I would highlight a few of them for you. First of all, our student population in clubs, in my mind, has grown exponentially. I mean, you already know about coding and robotics at the middle school. I think we have 55 students between those two clubs alone in the middle school. But the thing that I'm really loving about some of the clubs that I'm seeing is that it may exist at the high school or it may exist at the middle school, but it is really far-reaching to the other schools as well. For example, we have a club called One World up at the high school, and they used to be more of a globally minded club, and they've switched their focus to taking it a little bit closer to home. So for example, I think at least 6 or 7 times during the year, they send a bunch of kids to the Ronald McDonald House, where they prepare brunch for the families that are there. They procure the items, they bring them, and that has really led to a more local service organization, which is really nice. And we have 2 groups, one at Wampus and one at the middle school, the VIP and VIP Junior. And a lot of the kids are really feeding into this One World Club by the time they get to the high school. I think we have 34 kids in that club alone at the high school level. So I like to see that that's spreading. And others, we have Science Olympiad, which is enormous. There are 2 groups of 15 students. They spend the first half of the year competing, which we know is very intense. They pick 3 competitions out of the 25 that are available, and it's very centered on that competition part. The second half of the year, however, is centered on outreach, which I think is fantastic. So we know that they've been part of forensic labs in 5th grade. They've taken part in 5th grade science night. They've worked with the Science Olympiad group at the middle school to do this outreach to the elementary school. And now they're actually soliciting from teachers, how can we come into your class to help, to model, to show, and to make science something that's very living and livable for your students. So I think that outreach is really exciting too. And the third club I wanted to talk about, very not heard of very often, is the peer tutoring at the high school. And although we have, I think, 34 students in the peer tutoring group, and although there are only 12 students currently being tutored at the high school, this is kind of a unique club. They made their little handbook. They sat and figured out some of the things in the handbook that they came up with, suggestions for effective tutoring. It sounds very much like what we're trying to teach them in class. Come to sessions prepared. Think about the content that you want to try to tutor the students in. Use positive reinforcement. Prepare open-ended questions to have the students explain the concepts to each other instead of you explaining it. So I thought that really showed what they were taking, what they learn in class, and they're trying to help others. But their outreach component is that now, 3 times a week, they're going to the middle school to help out with the homework club after school. So what I love about these 3 in particular is their ability to reach other kids and really to service our own community. I thought you'd like to hear that after all of your support. I think between the middle school and the high school, we have 56 clubs right now.
That's all?
That's it.
Is that pretty standard in what it's been? Is it pretty much the number?
We've had a little bit of an increase in clubs. Last year, remember, we added the Byron Beat, the a cappella club. So there, you know, and sometimes we're consolidating clubs to, you know, we'll have a few service clubs and we'll put them under one organization, one service club, to sort of be the outreach for all of them. So in some ways, we've been consolidating because kids are fantastic and they find something that they feel passionate about and they want a club for it. But in truth, they're graduating in 1 year, and can that club sustain itself? So we really try to guide them into having an advisor who can have a broader umbrella over some of those.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for bringing it to us. Okay, and that brings us to board reports, and just a reminder that in 2 weeks, in lieu of our public meeting, we're going to meet in retreat, and the agenda is being worked on, almost done, and you'll all get a copy of that soon. And that the retreat is, it's not a board meeting, it's not exec session, it's really board training. And although it's not required by state that a Board of Education have that, it's good practice just to make sure that we're running things as efficiently and as effectively as we can. So that's in 2 weeks. And I had the honor, the privilege really, of watching the cum laude ceremony recently at the high school. And we'll get to welcome those kids here in a board meeting soon. And one other thing, I'm going to take part in one of the free webinars from NISBA on later high school start times, even though I know we already talked about it. They're having it, it's free. I want to just see what other people are saying about it.
What
So
time
I'm gonna be
are they
that.
doing it?
They're doing it in the day. You might
Just checking.
just curious. Just
6
don't worry.
6
Yeah.
a.m.
6:42 a.m.
I'll cancel each you,
Yeah.
right? Just to sit through it. And just one other thing I wanted to say, that I went to our 2 new director of Fine Arts and Music and our Director of Athletics, their first main events for our school district. One was the cabaret that was held at the high school. It was from hippies to hipsters. And it was his first, event, and it was phenomenal. These kids are unbelievably talented, so that went really, really well. And for Rob Castagna, it was the winter sports meeting. It was his first one, taking it on. You can see that he's put his stamp on how it's done, and so I think that they were well received. And that is all I have for now, so I'll turn it over. Does anybody have any committee reports or board reports? Yeah, Mike?
Brief, we had an athletic advisory council meeting on the 30th, on Friday, and I think the rollout of the athletic website app, byramhillsathletics.org, I think it is, it's phenomenal to the extent that scheduling, directions, where the games are. I think it's a phenomenal addition to communicating to the community. So I encourage everyone to get the app. So
The web app.
the web app, that's correct. So recruitment of coaches is a key focus of Rob. I think they're down to 3 winter positions. They filled the ski coach, so that's great. And there's a mentor program by coaches. Matt Allen gave a nice little presentation on this idea of creating each year they do a mentoring program for the coaches, for new coaches, and this is a great way to kind of integrate our philosophy on athletics. And this council meeting includes a number of coaches, and we have 14 or 15 community members who are at it, so it's a great way to communicate with everyone, and it's just, we're very lucky to have some great coaches in the district. And two other quick announcements. On November 15th, they have a lacrosse tournament for the Wounded Warrior program, which I think this is the 2nd year that they're doing it. And last year, they raised $65,000. So this is a tournament that's run here, and I'd encourage everybody to do what you can to participate. That's on November 15th. And what a great cause, and it seems like it's been a great community event. So wanted to make sure I mentioned that. And we've had some great team successes this year. The girls field hockey team went to the semi-sectionals. They did lose on Saturday to Lakeland, I guess.
Yeah, Lakeland.
Lakeland's not lost a home game, I think, in 9 years. So it's a tough game, but the girls did great. So.
I just want to piggyback on that. Not to put on sports without checking.
I'm sorry.
No, but Michael brought up really, I think, the key point, which is, I mean, to me, the story of the athletic season in the fall really was the girls' field hockey team. Because this is a sport where for years went by, we didn't score a goal. I mean, seasons went by, we did not score goals. And we had 2 home games this year in sectionals, which is a remarkable accomplishment. We won both. Going to the sectional semifinals in field hockey years ago would be akin to thinking we were going to the moon. So just congratulations to the entire program, which really started with the modified program in field hockey and has developed with these girls really committed to the sport. And it's just been an exceptional development of an athletic program for Byron Hills. I couldn't be prouder of what this team did. And as Mike said, losing to Lakeland is hardly a mark of shame. You know, there are Lakeland players that play on the U.S. Olympic field hockey team. So,
And we didn't gut the program moving girls soccer to the fall.
right. Well, that's another
That was
issue.
the
Goes back
big,
years ago. Right, field hockey, if
big
anything,
fear.
has taken off since then. But it's really congratulations. I want to say to Mike Galino, because he really was a big part of that growth. And Rob, you get the benefit of Mike's work, and congratulations to the program. And just to wrap up the fall briefly, we expect so much from our boys soccer team. We think they have a ticket to the state finals every year. They lost a heartbreaker 2-1 to what happens the same day we had a few electrical power problems. Maybe that sapped our offense. But it was a great game,
It was
great
well
turnout,
attended.
great turnout by the community. Had a rough injury early in this first half that really hurt us. But congratulations to Coach Allen, the assistant coaches and the team. Great season. Girls soccer, sectional semifinals, great accomplishment. Congratulations to them. Volleyball made sectionals. Football came just bad luck. They just had a rough season in terms of being able to turn things around. But I think Coach Saunders did Saunders did a great job with the football team. So congratulations. Especially in the fall where so many sports are played, it's really a logistical jigsaw puzzle to put it all together. So transportation deserves a lot of congratulations for their ability to ferry these teams back and forth and to coordinate the trips to various schools. It really was a great fall season, and now the winter season is soon upon us, and it should be exciting. But girls field hockey, gold star, well done.
Thank you, Ira. Any other board reports?
I have a meeting, I don't know if anybody else is signed up to go, the George Latimer meeting on Thursday.
I'm gonna go
meeting
too.
with our senator.
Yep.
What time Thursday?
It's in the morning. I think it's what, 10 o'clock? or-
Yeah, something like that, I can.
Up here in Rye or
It's
something?
in, Portchester.
Portchester. Yeah.
His office is in Portchester, yeah.
Thursday?
Yeah.
I'd like to go. He's a good guy.
He's
10
definitely
a.m.
been very supportive of
Yeah.
our priorities.
So that's that. There's a West Putt evening program on the 12th.
What is that program?
That's the joint superintendent board dinner, and we have a speaker for that who is actually not going to talk about APPR. That's the big news. APPR is going to be the push, and I think we should expect a toolkit from West Putt resolutions and the like to continue the pressure on the legislators in Albany on APPR. And to that end, there's a West Putt board meeting and legislative action committee meeting on December 10th, and Judith Johnson is going to attend that meeting at West Putt. So more dialogue there.
And anybody else? We had a town liaison meeting, and we talked about snow preparedness, about the shared communication, the channels of communication for that. And we also talked about summer camp. They're going to use Coleman Hill and Wampus this summer.
Again,
Yep.
how many years?
This is the second year?
This is the second, but how many years are projected, right?
We
It's not
don't
short term.
know. Yeah.
It's
Right,
not.
It's not short-term, right.
But we said yes, but it's not a long-term thing, right?
We'll see.
Well, I mean, we want to encourage them
We
to
have.
build their facility and hold their summer camp in their own facility,
Though
right?
those discussions are ongoing.
Yeah. And then one other thing is Councilman Barry Ryder asked us about training our children about train track crossings when they're driving, and we informed him that driver's ed takes care of that.
Apparently, he said that there's a policeman that sits right at the train track crossing on Virginia Road where the Metro North right-of-way comes through, and unless you wait until the lights stop flashing, irrespective of where the gate is, you will be ticketed. I say that to the Byram Hills community
As a warning.
as an informational only.
You mean if the gate goes up
The lights keep.
The
and the
lights-
lights continue
You
to
have to wait.
flash, you
You
wait?
have to wait.
Okay.
And that was it. Okay. Are there any topics for future agendas, requests for information? Okay, hearing none. Communications to the board, there is one that I had. I had a really nice phone call from Regent Kathleen Cashin, who represents the Kings area of our state. And she was calling to thank us for thanking her for the way she voted no for making APPR, the 3012D permanent. So she was appreciative
That's
because
great.
she only gets calls before a vote telling her how to vote, never after a vote thanking her for how she voted. But as far as I know, we haven't heard from anybody who we sent the letters to critiquing the way they voted.
No.
That was the only one we got. So we had a nice conversation, and she, she feels that some headway, similar to what you were saying, is going to be made in Albany. She feels now the governor, because his education polls kind of down, there might be a little headway there. So it was a great conversation. Any other communications to the board? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve our Board of Education minutes from October 20th, 2015?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, was there any changes? Okay, all in favor? Nice work, thank you. Can I have a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
To discuss one item 3.3, Board of Education Matters Succession Planning. We have, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Good night, thank you for watching.